So men get attached when these things begin to happen, when a woman creates a particular environment. How do I know this? Because for over a decade, I've been helping women create and attract emotionally available relationships and men. And this is by understanding a few things of the presence a woman has to be, the environment a woman has to be in order for a man to be emotionally available. Now, let's not get it twisted. Some men are just emotionally unavailable because of their trauma, they're in a relationship with somebody else, or they're just not in the market for anything real, serious, or commitment. However, the majority of men that you're going to meet out here in the dating streets are men who have emotional walls. Men learn very early. Men have a very tender center. They're very, very sensitive. And they learn very early to guard their hearts, to guard the sensitivity of their hearts. No woman is as vulnerable on the inside as a man. Now, as women, we're softer on the outside, but more resilient on the inside. And men are harder on the outside, but way more sensitive on the inside. And as little boys grow, little boys are way more emotionally vulnerable, and they become grown men that are vulnerable. And little girls, though we are vulnerable, our vulnerability is more external. We're more likely to be sexualized and all the other things. And of course, it's a conversation that we can have to eternity, but I don't want to focus on that today. I want us to focus on the reality that men's centers are very, very tender, and that they really don't cope very well with being hurt. So when a man is growing up, he learns very quickly that if he doesn't guard his heart, if he doesn't put walls around his heart, he is going to get stomped on all the time, because the pain is excruciating. It's almost defining to him as a man, and he has to figure out a way to navigate this world, still achieve his goals, maintain strength and focus without putting himself in a vulnerable situation that could totally destroy him as a man. And so a lot of men build walls. But the beautiful thing about the walls that men build is that the more safe a woman is in herself, and we're going to talk about what that is, the more the walls come tumbling down. And before you know it, you have a man that is fully emotionally available to you. Men are going to test you in small ways. They aren't going to come out and show themselves and be emotionally vulnerable. They will test you by showing up in ways that are a little bit vulnerable, just to see how you handle it, just to see how you reflect on what is going on in the moment. So let's begin and let's talk about this. If you want to learn how to encourage and create space where a man can be completely emotionally available to you, then you're on the right channel and you're the right video. And my name is Chengi. I'm your dating and relationship expert here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. And so let me just read my notes and let you know. Point number one, a woman who is consistent shows up the same way, soft, calm, almost predictable in your energy. A man has to feel like, though you are a little bit woman and we all a little bit crazy, a little bit, we have our emotions and sometimes they get the better of us. There is a bandwidth that a man can take on that. But by and large, are you the kind of woman who is able to sustain an environment? Does he know that Chengi is always going to be calm, cool, collected? Chengi is always going to be regulated. She might have a little moments, but 80% of the time, she's this environment that I can predictably go to. You see how women love consistency when it comes to closeness, reaching out energy, the masculine energy coming towards us. Men need consistency with our energy. They need to feel like when they see you, whenever they see you in a day, whenever they speak to you, they're going to be dealing with the same woman. They're going to be dealing with a degree of consistency energetically. Once a man finally picks up on the fact that you're not the kind of woman that's gonna shapeshift, there isn't a Jekyll and Hyde situation going on, you are genuinely who you say that you are, his nervous system begins to regulate and he starts to feel safer and more comfortable around you. Thus, lowering those walls, breaking down those walls, because the last thing somebody who is sensitive needs is to feel like at any point the rules could change. Now, depending on how much work that man has done on himself, he might not need this perpetually, but if he hasn't done a lot of work on himself, then it's important that you've done a lot of work on yourself and that you can create a calm, steady, beautiful, peaceful environment for yourself to live in, so that all he has to do is witness the calm, non-chaotic life that you live. And you can keep it up for as long as possible, for as long as a lifetime, because you are not doing it for him, you're doing it for yourself. So if you know that you're erratic and chaotic and you can't hold it together, that is not your fault. That usually means that you were not raised in a stable home. It means that you were never able to predict your world, that there was no structure in your world. And that as a result, you see the world from a very chaotic place. And the chaos was probably how you were seen and heard and understood in your home. And so that work needs to be done, that inner child work, those wounds, and repackage parenting yourself to be a more structured person who can express your emotions and manage your emotions and master your emotions in such a way that they don't actually become weaponized, but that you are able to create a safe space for yourself to exist. And that man, when he comes into your life and he can see that she lives in her own peace, she is bathing in her own calm, this is this environment that makes a man feel safe and ready to lower his walls. A man wants to feel like there's an intellectual connection, that he can talk to you and be understood on the level that he's speaking. If a man is speaking intellectually and you have no idea what he's talking about and he feels he has to dumb down to speak to you, he's not going to feel safe around you. You're not going to be the kind of space that he wants and needs and desires to connect. Does that mean you need to know everything a man knows? No. But that means that even if you don't know, you still have the courage and the openness to say, hey, that sounds so smart and so big. Would you mind explain that to me? Because I really want to understand what you mean, because I really feel like this would really enhance my understanding, myself, my thinking. A lot of us women don't have the security to be able to ask that question because we feel that asking for explanations or simplification somehow makes us feel like we're dumb. But men actually enjoy teaching women. They actually love the idea that they can teach you something. And intelligence is not acting as if no one can teach you anything, or that things have to be complex for them to be intelligent. In fact, intelligence is a way of actually making the complex simple so that even a 3-year-old can understand. An intelligent woman doesn't need to know everything, understand everything. She just needs to have a desire to know and understand what people are saying, and the confidence to ask for things to be reducted or to be explained or to be expounded in such a way that she can really grab a hold and understand so that she can meet him at his level. This is very enticing. It's sexy, but it also creates a degree of safety. Are you going to engage with him intellectually? Are you going to be able to use the left lobe of your brain to really engage? And are you able to challenge his thought without challenging his intelligence, without challenging his manhood? Are you able to question in such a way that you want to learn, but you also want him to perhaps consider a different perspective? Can he have that back and forth with you where he feels like we can have a differing of opinions and her opinion is going to be so valid and so well thought through, but she's never going to make me feel stupid or wrong just because we have a difference of opinion? That is going to make him feel safe in the dynamic and make him want to be more emotionally available. When a woman shows that she's able to be rational and logical in emotional environments, I know this is not easy for us as women because our brains are not built to be rational, logical, and not emotional, because our brains process emotion and logic simultaneously because our brains, the left and right lobe, are connected. So we are thinking, feeling, being simultaneously, and that can make it difficult for us to really come to the left side of the brain and really engage it, especially when the conversation is emotional. Once a man knows that you have this capacity, because you do, you're an amazing human, you can do both or you can do one or the other, but you have to train yourself to be able to do both. If a man feels like, right, I'm going to have this very difficult conversation, and this happens with my male clients as well. The reason why men trust me implicitly and explicitly is because they can say the most difficult things for a woman to hear and be met with a rational, logical breakdown of what is really going on. I remember one time I was at dinner with a male client of mine, and he says to me, you know, Chengi, I know that he is anti-wigs. He likes his women natural hair. He loves that natural hair thing. And so we're having this conversation. I see this waitress and she's got her natural hair. I was like, there's your girl. And we start talking about hair. And as you know, girls, you know, I'm that girl. Okay. And he says to me, so Chengi, what would you say to women who wear wigs? Now, he's able to say that to me because he knows I'm not going to react, because I know that he's not referring to me. I know that he respects me. I know that he treasures me. I know he thinks the world of me. He wouldn't pay me the kind of money he pays me or spend the kind of time he's spending with me if he disrespected me. Now, so many of us would have thought, oh, how dare you talk to me? Can you not see? What would you say to me? A woman needs to be able to just engage in that moment. And in that moment, I was able to feel some kind of way a little bit, but still lean into my left lobe and speak to him in a way that he would understand and respect and not feel like he's being judged. And for those of you who want to know what I said to him, I simply said to him, I wouldn't say anything to that woman, but what I would say to the man is, keep your eye on what you desire. You have every right to want what you want and need what you need. And just as we've demonstrated today, here is me with my big old wig all the way down to my bottom, And here's a beautiful girl with her natural hair. There is never any lack. Go for what you want. You have every right to it. You should have it. Just don't ever ask anybody to be different for you, because that then makes you a toxic person. And he was able to understand it, but we didn't go into it further because it was a casual dinner, and I can have this conversation 1,000 times with different men on a different level. Because I understand that it's not that he wants natural haired women. It's just that the women that he wants, the women he desires, they tend to have wigs or weaves, but he really just wants that kind of woman looking that kind of way. And that's a human response. How many times have we wanted a player to be good to us, to choose us, to act honorably with us? But he's a player. Come on, girl. Come on. Right? We do that. The ability to understand what is human nature, to understand what is male nature, what is masculine nature, allows you as a woman to tap into that ability, to tap into that left lobe. And if a man feels like you can do that competently, or at least try, he's going to feel so much safer around you. And that's why the men that I coach, the men in my life, feel so safe, because I'm able to feel the feelings and compartmentalize them and realize that he's genuinely asking a question. And if I give him the best possible answer, I have this all the time. I had one of my clients send me a reel of why don't women understand submission? And I was able to just put that aside and say, you know what, you're so right. We haven't been taught it. We don't know what it looks like. We don't understand. But what's really interesting to me is submission means there is a mission. And too few men have a mission. Their mission is to get laid. And a woman cannot come under that, but she can come under a mission. And he said, God, I never saw it. I didn't understand the word submission meant coming under a mission. I was like, yeah, a man has to have purpose, direction that a woman can come under. And then his leadership makes sense within the context of the mission. All of that makes him feel safe. He feels like he can talk to me about anything. That usually gets women going, but not me. And that's the practice you need to have, even in your personal relationships, if you want a man to be emotionally safe and secure with you. A man wants to feel respected at his core. He wants to feel that when you are angry, when he makes a mistake, when he gets it wrong, he's always going to be met with a deep sense of respect. That your respect for him is not conditional. It's not, oh, when you're doing all the right things, I respect you. When you're providing, I respect you. When you're in that place where I am applauding, I respect you. A man wants to feel like he is deeply respected by you. That respect will override any transgressions. That even when you are angry, even when you're upset, you still manage to find a way to respectfully be seen. Last but not least is, are you able to offer him freedom? Is he free around you? Is he able to be himself in your presence? Is he free to come and go? Is he free to be who he is? Or are you going to monitor and police him and become his probation officer and want to know where he is and what he is doing? When a man knows that his presence or absence does not affect who you are, your value, your sense of worth, when a man knows that you are going to hold it together, that you are going to be you, no matter what happens, that gives him the freedom. And when a man gets freedom, he doesn't want it anymore. I remember talking to a friend of mine, and he said, oh, I said to my girlfriend that I would like to be able to step out on her, even though it's, again, I listen to men without judgment, okay? So I've agreed I'll never date a girl and make her my girlfriend if she's not open to me seeing other women now and again, stepping out now and again, and just having sexual relations with other women. And so far, 1 or 2 girlfriends have agreed, and so that's just how I choose to proceed forward. I said to him, okay, that's fantastic. If that's working for you and the women that you want to do that with are in agreement and can uphold that and not change their minds or feel some kind of way, then that's all well and good. And then he said to me, well, thing is, my last girlfriend, she was all right with it, but I never stepped out. I felt no need to step out. I felt no need to go and have sex with anybody else. And I said to him, that's because you don't understand your male need for freedom. It's not that you want to go and sleep with other people. You just don't want to feel that you are being contained and held in and hemmed in. You are really just fighting for your sense of freedom within the relationship. And because you meet a lot of women that are insecure, when you meet one that is secure enough to say, do you, boo? Now, am I recommending that? I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, if you are able to get that level of freedom, I know I can't, right? But there are women out there in the world who are like, okay, cool, as long as I do the red carpet and you pay my bills and you take care of me and you make me your number one and you put a ring on my finger and I don't find out and there are no side babies and there are no STIs and all the things, I'm going to pretend I don't know, because that's that woman. Those are her values. That's what she needs. And that's the woman he's drawn to, and they have an agreement, because relationships are about what we can agree to. And so he was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly what it is. I don't actually want to step out on my woman. I just want to feel free too. And, you know, that conversation went on, and, you know, he is the man that he is. And I respect him for that. I wouldn't choose him for myself. So what I want to say to you today is honor a man's freedom in the best way possible for you, in a way that is ethical, in a way that is moral, in a way that feels true to you. And if you cannot accommodate to the level that some of these women can, that's okay. It doesn't make you a woman who can't. It just makes you a woman with your own set of values and standards. But always understand that a man is going to feel safer with you when he feels free to be himself, whatever version of that is. And that's why it's so important that you are aligned in your values and your morals and your beliefs, so that that safety never has to violate anybody else. I hope that this video was helpful, and that now you're able to create an environment with the man that you meet, the men that you're dating, so they are completely emotionally available to you. I'll see you in my next video. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye.